guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and this is a 5-minute review for the movie Shaft. Now, I'm talking about the 2019 version of Shaft, not to be confused with the original 70s Richard Roundtree films or the 2000 Samuel L. Jackson movie. This is actually the third movie to be called Shaft, and yet none of them are remakes or reboots. There is this slavish continuity between these movies. They all take place. Listen, you've seen the trailer, right? This is a non-spoiler review, but you've probably seen the trailer, so I'm not spoiling that there are 3 generations of Shaft in this movie. We get Roundtree, Samuel L. Jackson, and then the torch is being passed. Or is it? That's kind of the question that's up for debate. I want to ask, why does this, why now? Why does this movie exist 19 years after the previous Shaft? I think that studios are looking through their properties, through the things that they own for recognizable names, potential franchises. Let's face it, this is the 5th Shaft movie. It's a franchise, though it's been done over a space of, decades and decades. The approach that this movie takes, it's directed by Tim Story, who he directed both of the Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. He also did both of the ride-along films, Kevin Hart, Ice Cube. This seems like he's having a really good time. This movie is very irreverent, but it's also fun. It's not mean necessarily. Listen, it's basically 2 middle fingers to being politically correct. It is not politically correct at all. It has a lot of fun with what makes Shaft what it is. That irreverent attitude, the disdain for authority, the sexuality, the social morals of the 70s, all the stuff that seems so unpolitically correct now. This movie embraces, and it seems to have a lot to say about certain millennial trends. But I think that it does this in a way that's appealing as well to millennials. I'm not a millennial, I'm Generation X, so I can't quite say for sure. It didn't offend me, it didn't bother me. I actually thought that it was awesome. It made me laugh out loud. I wasn't quite prepared for this movie to be a full-on comedy. The trailer had some laughs in it, but I don't think the trailer was great at conveying exactly what this movie was going to be. This movie is a straight-up detective movie in the style of the 70s originals. They don't make movies like this anymore. I will also say, this movie does not have a ton of special effects. I don't know that it has any special effects. It might have a few. It feels, you take out the commentary on current PC culture, this feels like a late 90s movie. This feels kind of like a Miramax movie from 1998 or 97, something like that. And that's cool with me, because that was my bread and butter when I was first becoming a film fan. The Samuel L. Jackson performance in this movie is also straight from, he is at the peak of his powers in this movie. This is not Nick Fury Samuel L. Jackson. This is yelling the F word, blowing people away, unchained Samuel L. Jackson on his worst behavior, having a blast. And it was so good to see this guy again, because it's been a while. He's done a lot of, more dramatic stuff and some stuff where he's had to kind of play by the rules a little bit. He is unchained in this movie. So do we need a torch passing movie to introduce a new generation to Shaft? That question kind of hinges, or the answer to that question kind of hinges on whether this movie works well enough or not to introduce us to another Shaft in the family. For me personally, I think the movie did a good enough job at introducing this new character that I want to see more. I think that the way that this movie ends, again, it's not a spoiler. I'm not spoiling anything, but the way that this movie ends, it's prime setup. It's prime territory to just continue making Shaft movies should this catch on. Do we need more Shaft movies? I don't know that we do. This movie technically does not need to be made. It's been 19 years since the last one. We left it in a good place. But it does what it does in a really fun way, in a really throwback way, and I want to see more stuff like this. I want to see more things that are irreverent and risky and aren't huge special effects showcases, and that actually rely on humor and character development to tell the story. I'm a big fan of this movie. The theater that I saw this with, it was full of everybody. Black people, white people, men, women. People were clapping. They were laughing out loud, slapping their knees. Everyone had a blast with this movie. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. When this thing comes out on the home video market, I'm going to be watching this over and over because I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm a fan of the film franchise, so it felt good to me. It felt in a lot of ways like coming home. Not perfect. There are a few things that I would like to change or that I had a few issues with, but not enough to take enjoyment away from the movie. So that is my 5-minute review. Four spoons out of 5 from Serial at Midnight. So guys, if you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't seen it, I think you should check it out. You guys know the kind of stuff we like here at Serial at Midnight. The 70s movies, the exploitation, all the cinematic past. This does a lot of honor to a lot of that stuff. So guys, check it out. I appreciate you guys so very much. Until next time, I will catch you later.